we should think of not becoming one trillionaire, but billions of, I would say millionaires within our community. We haven't really understood our Prophet ﷺ's message, where he was saying is that business is something which we need to go into. But the intention is that how can I teach these smaller businesses to be efficient in marketing? I said, look, please don't bury him till I reach. And he said, Javed, we have to bury him because it's, the same day. I said, no. And my first thing was, I want to see my dad. And when you touch him, there's a cold face. And I remembered my last hug before I left.
From building iconic brands to launching the UK's first halal-exclusive food delivery app, Javed Husain has spent 40 years redefining business. In this episode, we sit down with the visionary behind Totalee Halal to talk faith, legacy, and what it really takes to build a true community movement. Get ready for an honest conversation on purpose over profit. Welcome to the Majid Khan Podcast. Acha, before we started this, just now we were having a conversation and you said that it's not about making money.
Yes.
It's about...
But it's about serving. I think, what you need to look at is that when you are creating any business, look at who you're going to serve and what change in society you're going to make. Because making a change and making a difference as a business will actually give you the long-term thinking and a long-term way of vision of it, yeah. Because money can be made by, you can make money in lots of ways. But making halal money is the key thing.
That's so true. So Javed, I got this piece of papers here prepared, so I'm going to ask this. But we started this conversation. So can you become a billionaire making halal money? Because I always get to hear that you cannot be a billionaire or millionaire without cutting corners or without doing anything, saving taxes and all that stuff in this country.
I think it's a very thing. Who makes you who you are is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's He who gives us that. And it's not, we are actually starting to judge ourselves by the zeros in your bank account. We should look at who is creating a difference in the world. That is the lasting part of it, The billions and trillions is the impact you're going to create in that world. What shift are you going to create? You've been given, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave you this resource, which is His resource. And it is inside of you to do that. And if we start to get from this place is that it is not my money, it is His money. I'm only the guardian and I'm looking after it. And my job is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the more He gives me, the bigger guardianship I have. And the bigger thing we can deliver is going to become like that. What we have started to doing is me, my family, and leave it in a legacy. Leave it in the legacy of our ummah. Your family is also part of that ummah. When our ummah is really, thriving and, in that space, then you are as well. It's not like living inside. You see, I think the behavior is changing from that one person becoming a billionaire living inside a mahal, than having a lot of millionaires. We should think of not becoming one trillionaire, but billions of, I would say millionaires within our community would be the strength that we are as a community who are trillionaires.
As a community.
As a community, we're trillionaires.
How many Muslims in this world? 1.2 billion?
Exactly.
And every single person is a millionaire.
Imagine if everybody was a millionaire. That is what we should be looking at. It's not about this elite. It's not. Islam, Prophet ﷺ didn't come for the elite. He came for everybody. He wanted the entire community to rise up. Trade in the right way, work in the right way, be together in the right way, and that's it. Imagine if you can think of it. And I think, mashallah, there are Muslim communities who've come from different parts, like within a Gujarati community and other ones here. And you see them that majority of them are millionaires.
Why
Yes.
majority of Gujaratis are millionaires?
Fantastic. It's a really great question. There are certain parts of it which sometimes is that, are they millionaire in terms of money, or are they millionaire in terms of good ikhlaq? You see, I think we're going to have that as well. We are sometimes judging them, yes. And not saying that they are very good people within that community. Very good people. I love them. And some of them, their dedication, and you can see them. And that is the person who I think we should see them as a millionaire. Yeah. The millionaire is from the action. It's from the generosity. It's not from the bank account. It's about how much is he giving. You see, what we tend to see when we see a millionaire, Majid bhai, is that we see that how much they're doing for others. And what we want to do is we want to be like them, because we can do for others. And that is a more good thing. I mean, मेरी thinking है कि इंशाल्लाह अल्लाह सुब्हान ताला जब भी हमें, क्योंकि मालूम नहीं, and I don't know when he's going to call me back.
No one knows.
Nobody knows. Yeah. I say the two things is that both the clients and maut comes without returns.
That's a good one.
It comes in, you can do all your arrangement in a business to get the client, but the client arrives on his time, And the same thing is maut ka bhi. You don't know when it is coming in. So I really say that. So I say, to be honest, मैं कुछ बात जो कह रहा था उस बात को भूल गया, but आप चलिए आगे इंशाल्लाह।
मैं ये कह रहा था जावेद भाई, you have spent 40 years, almost 40 years in business.
Yes, mashallah.
And what you just told me in last 4-5 minutes, I was just thinking, is that what you have learned from your 40 years?
Yeah, I think Majid, I always say that I'm still learning. I am still learning, because if you set up any business, any time, any space, things keep changing. You're going to have to adapt. You cannot take a similar model and try to impose it onto some place. And that's the mistake sometimes we have. There are certain learnings I've learned from my father, my grandfather, my great-grandfather, because they must have learned. They were business people as well. So I've been in a family with 3 generations of business. But at the same time, I've learned one thing from my father is reliability and commitment. He had a dry cleaning business in India. Okay. Dry cleaning, coming from a family of Nawabs and those things, dry cleaning was considered to be what? Dirty.
In India, Pakistani context,
dirty. You're going to touch dirty clothes. And my father did that. Because everything, because the businesses, the land ownership and everything was taken over. Everything like the government did. If you had big kheti and outside a city, or you came in the city, things, they just took it over and they gave you a compensation. And because your lifestyle was so, lavish, you spent all the money. You weren't generating anything. Yeah. And it came a time that I think it's 50s, where my father then took on, because he didn't want to go into the army or he didn't want to work. That's the best thing he did was he sold my mother's jewelry and started a business.
That's amazing. How many times do we hear this story that exactly mother's jewelry and then start your business?
And my mother came from also a very, mashallah, she was known as Sahibzadi Begum, meaning her coming from a nobility in terms of that. But it was that young couple in their 20s. My mother was 18, her father was just 20, 21. Yeah.
They took that risk.
They took that risk.
And back then.
He bought the dry cleaning business from a cousin of my dad who was moving to Pakistan. And he took that business. And
moving to Pakistan when partition was happening.
Was partition happening. Wow. So they were moving to Pakistan. Wow. My dad bought his business,
So partition was happening in 1947.
Yes.
One of your cousins.
They were moving back to, because the people were moving from 47 till 50s, like people were still moving. And he bought that little small dry cleaning laundry business. And mashallah, he sent, we are 7 brothers. One of eldest has passed away, but still mashallah, we are 6 and 3 daughters. He sent us all to study abroad, ran that business, had hundreds of people work through there. Hundreds of thousands of people have come and worked under him. Families and stuff. That's what he did. And my mother used to talk about is that he used to, number those clothes because they're dirty clothes coming in. They used to number it.
They
you have
do
to
that.
touch the dirty numbers, come home, wash your hands, get the things done. And then he started one of the best dry cleaning companies. It for him was service. If you say, and you imagine, somebody who's paying you £5 for a shirt and he wants that shirt to look perfect when he comes in and he drops at your place with dirty and everything, but his expectation is, and my father's expectation, that I'll give him the best quality shirt back. If he wants dry cleaning, I'm going to make sure that the clothes are dry cleaned. They're not washed. They're not, done anything else. So it's the reliability. As a child, I remember where I got business into it was because the dry cleaning business was about from our house. We can see that about, I will say 200 yards away from the house, the family house. And I could see during winter, there used to be queue. And the policemen used to be sometimes taking tickets because there used to be cycles and people coming to collect dry cleaning.
And whereabouts?
This is in Lucknow. This is in Lucknow. Yeah, this is in Lucknow. And as a young kid, probably about 6 or 7 years old, I used to go behind the counter and my job was to collect all the people giving their tickets to collect the clothes. So there used to be like a horde of people and I used to go from behind trying to get the thing. And they used to all tell me, "Bhai, isko upar laga de," because nobody wanted the patient to wait. And I used to say, no, I'm not going to do that because, other people were in the queue, and then doing that. So it was a really great experience.
So, Javed, what you just told me, well, I understood that the principle is still the same for business. It doesn't matter you are 100 years ago or now. Right now, so much branding, people are social media and the colors and then this and that, advertising and marketing. But if you're not providing good service, that's it.
It's still
the same, the principle.
Brand always has to serve. You see, Majid, my years have been spent in branding, running advertising agency and building brands and stuff. I always say that, I can do a nice dress for the brand. I can do everything from the brand. But if the brand does not serve, there is no brand. There's no brand. It's like if I make a promise that this brand is worth X amount and you're being charging for that, then you turn up, you pick up the product, you take it home, and it breaks within 10 minutes. So the service is the main key important thing. You remember the conversation people used to say, "Oh, it's a Chinese product."
Yes.
So it wasn't a conversation. That's how it was. It was do we say the same thing now?
Now, because of this new. I was having this conversation with my friend about BYD.
Yes.
And that's what he said to me. It's not like back in the day.
It's not like Chinese. Yeah. But it's a perception is there. See, it's still a perception. Because it's an interesting thing which I want to say is that and this is something which in my years of thinking and simplifying it in something, I call it a brand is only a conversation in your mind. And if the conversation is positive and it's more soulful, it stays longer in your life.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And if the conversation is actually very superficial on the top, it only stays there as a fashion and finishes. So brands who want you for a long life, they have to come from that space. So it means it's an emotional connect.
Exactly, yeah.
It's an emotional connect. And emotional connects are relationships which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created. Like Maki, like when you say something made from mothers, like mother's cooking.
Mother's cooking, yeah.
You get it? And brands which build on those connections, those sort of human interaction, those things, they are much, much more stronger and much more bigger. It's a clear thing. I mean, for my advertising world, if I tell you is that one of the ads which I produced is after my mother's death. And it was one of my best television commercials of what I did produce.
Because that emotion was so fresh.
Yeah, it was so fresh.
Heart,
I mean, losing your mother, and I'm sure in your people who are listening, those who've lost their mother or father, there's a different experience. It's like a part of you is taken away from you. And you just don't know how to fill it up.
And it doesn't matter what age you're in.
Whatever age you're in. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created the structure. That's why He said, on this earth, Ma and Baap, mother and father, is me. Especially mother. Especially mother.
Right.
And coming back to when Prophet, peace be upon him, said to one of the Sahabis when who asked the question, is that where is Jannat? He said, in the feet of your mother.
That's so true. So
the second time, where is Jannat? He said, in the feet of the mother. Third time, feet of the mother. Fourth time when he said, where else could it be? He said, feet of your father. So there is a 75-25 yin-yang connection. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He didn't afterwards say, that's where the four.
So Javed, how did you feel? Like you just mentioned about your mother's
Yes.
So what were your feelings when you saw your mom passed away, and then how were you that time? Explain me your feelings.
Wow. Majid bhai, I think it's a very interesting, because losing your mother, you tend to lose part of you. Yeah. I felt that when I lost my father, it was security which went. Yeah. Even I was a businessman doing everything. I had this vision of mine that he grew me up and put me to the best schools in India. I went to the best schools, and I wanted to do the same thing for him. I wanted him to come to London, and I could give him can you see how sometimes, our love is a little bit. What I wanted is that, he comes and stays in my house. He doesn't go and stay at my brother's house.
That was your khwahish, wasn't it?
My khwahish that he comes, and I need to have a big house where my dad comes and stays, and I should have another extra car, so he can then go anywhere. I can have this American Express, and he can go and spend whatever he wants. I mean, that was my expression to tell my dad, I did well. What you wanted, I wanted to impress him. That was my. So when he passed away,
and that's the only person you want to impress in life, isn't it?
This is true. That's the key thing. And I think if I tell you a little story about it. So when my father passed away, I was actually doing an event for the Memon community.
Okay.
It was the center in Tooting. Okay. And Prince Charles, now King Charles, was the guest of honor there.
Oh, okay.
So I had organized, I was managing the entire, our company was managing it, and Sir Iqbal Sakrani, and they had asked us to, and so we were managing everything, like how it is, from the invitations to everything, to even I knew what Prince Charles, how much sugar and honey he puts in it, in his tea and stuff, because I was liaising with the palace so, and then it's literally the next day is the event. 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I get a call from my brother from India. And he says, Javed, what are you doing? I said, I have a big event happening tomorrow. I told my brother, he's called Naved. And I'm just trying to relax and have lunch before I can plan. And he said, sit down. And he said to me, Papa is no more. It's like, I just could not believe that the whole world was collapsed. My insecurity, I just didn't know what to do. And the first thing, once he told me, I said, what? I said, look, please don't bury him till I reach. And he said, Javed, we have to bury him because it's, the same day. I said, no, I have to get there, sometimes people, so I rang up few people, and this is sometimes I feel Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed you. And this is where I don't think money, but I think it's the service you do to people, that people in the industry arranged for my ticket. And I just left the office. My wife got all my bags and stuff together. I left from the office and went straight to the airport. And I was able to reach there.
And what was going through your mind?
What was going through my mind was
to the India.
was going through my mind is that 3 months before that, he had asked me to come over. 2 months before, he said to me, come over, Javed. Can you bring your kids? And I was thinking, Dad doesn't think tickets during December are so expensive. I'll go in March. See how we are? And he doesn't realize I've got 3 kids, and it's and it's expensive to do that. And my whole thing was running that, you were just following money. Yeah, making money is the most thing. And so for that, I wanted, to be there with him. And I remember my driver, who's been our driver for a long time. He's a young guy who had joined us, was standing at Lucknow airport, and he had this very somber face. And me and him, I went and sat inside. I just hugged him and I sat inside. And he never talked throughout the whole journey till the Qabristan. Nothing. And the minute I walked into the Qabristan, everybody was waiting for me.
Oh, wow.
Alhamdulillah, and this is why I say that, you can always know from how successful the person is that Lucknow bench, the judges' bench, actually shut down for my father's funeral. A few of the judges left their bench, and these are Hindu people.
Oh, wow.
Who left bench and said today, so it's beautiful that this is why I say that he served. Yeah. And I want to see, I don't know how many people will carry me. I sometimes think, might not be, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows. But I'm saying to you, so it's like everybody was, my first thing was, I want to see my dad. And when you touch him, there's a cold face. And I remembered my last hug before I left. And our generation, our parents were not very love-giving sometimes. They used to get, so when I went and hugged him last time, he was like a truck. Hugging him as a truck. And I did that and I kissed him last. And this is the kiss I did. And that kiss was a warm kiss. And when I kissed him, he had a little tear coming down. And this time when I kissed him was a cold face. But I could see my father, that trimmed, he used to always shave and keep a nice beard and his mustache and trim. I could see everything, but it was a cold. And that feeling was that I lost him. From that day, I was like fearful. Even I was successful here in my business, always fear was that if something goes wrong, he's not there. Because I know my father would always look after me. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Anything happens, come back, beta. Here's enough food, I'll feed you. That is what we lost, And then coming to my mother, very dynamic women because, she gave her jewelry for my dad to start the business. She was always there behind my father. Building it, she had 7 sons, 3 daughters. So you can imagine, I call it that none of her daughter-in-laws everybody will say she loved her more. Everybody will say, because that's how she did, beautiful. And again, something happened. My brother rang me from Canada. He said, you know what? And he looked after her. My younger brother in India looked after my parents. He didn't go anywhere while all of us, I've got brothers in Canada. I've got, brother went to America, set up his businesses. And sisters are in Oman, one is in Hong Kong, and one is in Canada. And me and 2 brothers are here. So he called me, and he said to me, Mom fell and, last night broke her hip. I'm in Canada getting my son to university. I'm so annoyed. I shouldn't have left her. So he was in that guilt. So I said, no, don't worry. I'm going to fly. Because I thought, I haven't served my mother and father. I came here when I was 21. And that's my biggest regret is that I haven't served my mother, father. They gave me everything. They make you who you are. And I went back there, looked after her for 2 weeks. And she forced me to go back. She said, "Tumhare bacche wahan hai, your kids are there. Go back, go back." And I could see it that this is the last time I'm seeing her. I wouldn't see her alive. Sometimes you have this little connection and feeling. And she was in hospital and then she passed away. that time, I would say the worst, I would say, is that with my father was security, with mother was like, I lost something. And it took me a year, Majid Bhai, in business. I won businesses worth £1 million of a campaign for Thai food to do the advertising. And I was depressed the next day morning. I was so depressed that I had this money. It was like as if somebody gave me this money, you'd be happy that you have a big campaign. You have a national brand to do advertising campaign. And it's like
very happy.
Yes, it's I won this business. I'm gonna. It's one of the big brands. It's an iconic brand. And I was feeling depressed. I just didn't like it, and I thought, what's happening? I've done life coaching. I coach, and I'm in that space, and I'm just thinking, what's happening? Because a part of you goes out. But I really discovered, and that's a really nice thing, is that a year, like after a year, jo aap karte na barsi, so we all of us, pehli barsi, we all were back in India. We had literally all of us, 10 of us were all there. And 3 o'clock in the morning, we're sitting in my dad's room, 3 o'clock in the morning, and all of us talking about my mom and dad. It's like the conversations. It's conversations which were really interesting. When we, the time when we were in India, when it's very cold, you wear those lihaf. And there's always used to be, air conditioning is now, but before was hot angitis, put in the rooms, different rooms. And we used to be young kids, and you go around playing cricket, you come back, you don't wash your feet. And then you bring your feet in the lihafs, and it's a bit smelly. And my mom used to say, there are smelly feet inside. And then nobody wants to go out and wash his feet because it's cold, because the water is cold in there. Coming back to it, I discovered that my mother hasn't actually, when you have that physical thing of gone, but she's still present inside, because I could hear her and my sister. I could hear the jokes and the smile, the way my brother laughs, or even the language one of my sisters started to speak, the way she behaves is like my mother. So I saw exactly that my mother's still here.
That's so beautiful.
She is here. And you know what? That minute, my depression finished. I literally got that she is present inside, and she's left inside of me, my mother, my brothers, and everything is an existence of my mother. So I got, it's the conversations she had, the way she used to tell my brother, and that's something sticks with it. And she used to tell my elder brother, because he used to come back, he did a favor to somebody, and then when he calls the guy, he's not there. My mother used to say, Beta, think of throwing something in a well whenever you do good. Don't think the expectation. It's that conversation. And that words remind me is that don't have that expectation. And I got that if I don't have expectations, same thing when you're doing in business and stuff, don't have that expectations. Because if you have expectations, you're going to be disappointed. But if you don't have expectations, then you're not going to be disappointed.
Even in business as well.
Even in business as well. You make a commitment, you be committed to do something, and have that commitment that inshallah, have that iman that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give you progress. Because He is saying it. Today, and I sometimes feel is it, and I think conversation is coming into like on Totalee Halal, I say that today I've invested in Totalee Halal. My whole intention is that it's for the ummah.
Sure.
And if my product doesn't reach that level, somebody else comes into the market and launches another product. It's part of my own thinking of doing something for the community. So it is actually building something. It's not that, I need to get the profit back. It's the community which gets the profit back. It's the service to the community which is there. It's my niyat. And if somebody else's good niyat is there, that niyat will have a response back. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala always gives you niyat, whatever you have. If a good intention, He gives you back. But you don't know that He didn't want to give you back at that time. He probably took it away from you because it wasn't good for you. It's probably good for somebody else. So if I think in this fashion, then I'll never be disappointed in terms of where I'm investing in.
That's beautiful. So in expectations in relationship, expectation
Yes.
in business, it's the same rule. So you don't keep any expectation from
You don't have that. I think if, really nicely you said in terms of relationships as well, because when we have too much expectations, then we are disappointed. Because if you just don't have that expectations, then you'll start to see the beauty of the response which has come in. Because the beauty of the response is whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us.
Brilliant. So, Javed, I mean, obviously, I just want you to learn and understand from all your experience you have in business and advertising and marketing and all the rest of it. What one thing, I mean, we were talking about what one thing, I'll be going away a little bit from the conversation we're having, but what one thing you think the young Muslim entrepreneurs, mistake they're making when they are launching a business?
Sure. You see, look, I'm a brand man, and brand is important. But I think one thing you need to get it right is the story behind the brand is more important. You need to make sure the story is what people look at it, and in that story have authenticity. Don't create something which is on inauthenticity. Don't fake things. Actually do whatever it is, like I love the advertising that says it does what it says on the tin.
Yeah.
And that's authenticity.
That's perfect.
Perfect. I'm paying £5. This is a paint which paints, and then covers it, and it does what it says. So it's like authentic. I know I've paid for it. You create something and then you make it look like that, and then it doesn't deliver. So the level of what you say as a brand and build that is a key important thing. 2, don't give up. Because in business, when you start, you have a certain vision. What tends to be is that start to understand what the market wants, not what you want. Because you have to understand what the need of the market is. Sometimes our young business people are thinking what they think there is. You're going to have to come and step in the foot of where the customer is. So you should know what the price is they're ready to pay. What time do they need it? So it's the right time, at the right price, at the right place. And then you see a product will sell. So I feel is the timing of anything when you are developing a business, it's important that you are on the right space,
And what industries you think Muslims should enter in next 5 years? Where is the best chance to serve the community and larger communities?
You see, I feel is that we need to look at businesses which will serve our community. That's very important, where it can employ people from our community. So start businesses where it's just not you make the money, for other make money. Start businesses which will help, like you will actually buy a product from somebody, like a raw material or something from a Muslim person, or from there. Encourage that. Do businesses which are something is solid in terms of what you're doing, Don't just start a business and then sit on a computer and then buy and sell. But there isn't anything shifting and stuff, I mean, I'm not against stocks, but I feel, and again, like cryptocurrency and stuff, it's not my space. I find it, I don't think, in my little learning, I feel that I'm not doing anything. I'm not really producing anything.
Not
tangible enough. And I don't find it, and I really think is that years ago when the first cryptocurrency was there, and everybody was talking, and it was what, £24 or £22, and I remember it was £2, £3, and everybody was talking it's going to go there. And I love, my son was just 17, my eldest was 17, 18, and he's very straight in terms. And I said to him, son, you think we should invest £3,000-4,000 in it? And he came back and he went and did that. He said, Dad, I don't think it's halal. I loved the word when he said that.
Wow.
When he told me,
as a father,
I just when I heard him,
17-year-old son,
17-year-old saying, I've done the analysis. I don't think it's halal. And he as a businessman, everybody is investing in it, and you feel, you're always chasing, and that's the worst part of it. I want to be like this person, or I've got this little. Rather than having that, listening to him, and when he came and told me that, Dad, I don't think it's halal, was the best thing I heard. And I never invested in it. I never.
Made you feel proud of your tarbiyah?
To be honest, that's exactly what I felt. And I felt that, where I was deviating, and I was thinking because everybody was investing and I should be doing something and I should invest a few thousand, and I just didn't do that. And I really feel happy that I didn't do it. Like even if you look back, it's 24 pounds today is, I don't know how many thousand.
Thousands of pounds.
And your mind, shaitan comes and tells you, that could have been really good. Yeah. Because shaitan does tell you. But I just, when I place it with my son's words, I think, that's the best part.
Javed, before we move on, we're going to talk about Totalee Halal as well.
Yeah.
In detail. But I want you to understand that we just talked about the tarbiyat, like your son, 17-year-old son is telling you, Dad, I don't think it's halal.
Yes.
And you feel proud about it. Do you think the tarbiyat our parents give it to us and the tarbiyat we are giving it to our children? Is it the principle you said about earlier? You said the expectation in relationship and expectation in business is the same principle.
Yes.
Both sides.
Yes.
Is it this, in the tarbiyah, there is some kind of common thing or something specific is out there that doesn't matter which time of which era you're living in?
Yes.
Its principle is still the same in tarbiyah.
Principle always remains the
What's
same.
the principle of tarbiyah?
A principle of tarbiyah is that we all need to get our children to come onto Sirat al-Mustaqim. There is no change in Sirat al-Mustaqim. Wherever you go. I mean, this is something we feel that. But what is happening is there's a massive pressure from Western thinking of individualism, of money, of consumerism, which is actually shifting our way of thinking. Yeah. But our way of thinking is very simple. We need to be that this, whatever we do, whatever business we do, whatever work we do, we have to make sure that Allah is inside of our work.
But how did you teach a teenage son?
Yes.
How did you teach him?
I think
13-year-old, he's living his life, life ahead of him, friends, and even,
I would say is that, you're going to have to become the principal. You are the one he's going to look at the pedestal. You are the litmus test. And I know I have made hundreds of mistakes, hundreds and hundreds of mistakes, and sometimes, I was at a funeral and one of the Maulana said beautifully, and he said, if he's done anything wrong, please forgive him, and you might think that he was a bad man, but one day if you were in this coffin and somebody ran a film about you, everybody will run away. Everybody will run away from you. Everybody run away because you have committed so many things. But at the same time, you're going to have to, you have to sort of be the principal. I think it's so important that we should pass on the values which our parents and grandparents, values I'm saying. Do not change your values for the sake of thinking I'm in here, our values change. Our values should still remain the same values. Values of honesty has to be there. Value of haqq. Haqq is not only just, I was in a Muslim country, I need to give haqq to everybody. Haqq should be given in every place. Your neighbor is exactly the same neighbor. I have Jewish neighbors, I've got a Hindu neighbor, I've got a Muslim neighbor. Doesn't matter. It's the neighbor. So we're going to have to do that. And if we have that principle, I feel sometimes people are thinking, and there has been a little I would say the pressures of us who came here in the 80s and 90s to become something because we left our countries and stuff. We forgot, or I would say sometimes that, okay, I was 21, I would have stayed a little bit more longer with my parents. The certain other values would have come to me, But at the same time, we didn't have, the telephones weren't there, the communication weren't there. We weren't going back so backward and forward. But whoever has their parents staying with them, they should keep their parents as long as they can keep their parents in the house, because those parents are going to pass on to our next generation as becoming grandparents, because you don't have the time. The values will come through them. They have a little bit more time. They're grandparents now. Their values need to come in. And we don't need to shift from our values. You see, or becoming a British Muslim doesn't mean that our values become, I'm not saying British values. British values are beautiful values. There's a lot of Islamic British values. Adapt those values, which we have sometimes dropped in our Eastern values. Yeah,
right.
Bring Islamic values in everywhere. Islamic values have to be everywhere. Business, life, school, friends, everywhere. Those values should not. Because the minute we give our values, we might become multimillionaires, but millionaires without values.
Millionaires without values. That's the message. Okay, let's talk about Totalee Halal, and then we'll come back to this conversation we're having. So why food delivery? Like lots of food delivery apps out there, they're doing some amazing work. I know they are non-Muslim. We don't know where our money is going to, where they're spending our money, where we are their customers and stuff. So why did you decide the food delivery, and what gap did you feel like you need to fill?
Sure. I think it's very interesting, the question you're asking. I think I'm being asked the same question. Why? Why did you think of this, Javed bhai? You're a brand man, and why are you coming in here and doing it? What I really saw, one thing is I looked at it when did some work for Uber. They're trying to concentrate on Ramadan and stuff. That there's a market. So I realized that first, as a businessman, you look at the market and say, hey, is there a market in this space?
Like my local Tesco tells me first they have when Ramadan is.
Yeah. What time is Ramadan and when it is?
They are celebrating way before anyone.
Yeah, they're fully planned. They're very well organized and planned, and I've run Tesco campaigns. With the international Tesco, when they set up the divisions, we were the consulting agency. We did the advertising campaign and built it up, and still Sainsbury's, I do all the campaigns, and I realized how much the size they are taking from us. So what I would really want to come into a business where it's made by Muslims, for Muslims, and it can provide a service to the ummah. So that is something which can be done. Food is something, when you're from Lucknow, food is a passion. It's a passion. And you want to love and be in food. It's not that my wife says, you're going every place, you want to test food more. No, but I think it's something, as I have said to you before, it's working with people. There's something being created here. We're creating a service. It's coming from a slightly different position. I brought Totalee Halal from a marketing position as well. It's not just food delivery. Food delivery is at the end to a consumer, to that. But the intention is that how can I teach these smaller businesses to be efficient in marketing? Because if and I don't want to name names, but the bigger brands, Uber, they charge between 35 to 45% commission, including the advertising. So imagine halal products which are being done. You work so hard, because I feel that everybody should have, and I'm not going to go into the, of HMC or HFA, but something which is purely halal. I want to push towards that pure halal side here, because we need to have food which is pure halal.
Nice.
Still market defines whatever it is. I'm not going to go inside of it, but I feel we should shift towards the best. We should always go to the best. We should have the best quality. All of the hard work, the businesses, somebody else in New York or in some other capitals, which are taking all the money, while we can start to build them. So the whole idea is that how can we create a good ecosystem, and then 10% of the profit then goes back into the mosques, because you see the mosques, every area there's a mosque, there's a butcher, there's a restaurant, there's and there's a community. The food is being delivered. Why don't we actually help them market better at a cheaper price? The food which is sold is cheaper. It's not as expensive. And then 10% of the profit goes back to educating people, not only how to eat food, but how to actually, Live a life which is halal. It's not only food is halal. You have to live a life which is halal.
Of course,
you're going to have to a lifestyle. So it should become a whole ecosystem. And the more I looked at it, the more it drives me that we need to have a good ecosystem. Yeah.
Did anyone ever tell you that, Javed bhai, I mean, as you said, that they were saying you're a brand man, but you're doing food delivery thing. But did they ever say that this not going to work? The idea Totalee Halal not going to work?
I found one or two people because who've actually said, but majority of people, everybody loves because they never realized that there is a market in here. But people are realizing it because if I sell them that it is totally halal. And so what is totally halal? We said that anything which you see inside here is halal. So you don't have to worry about, you don't have to worry about, I mean, I'll give you an example, and it's part of my journey of finding it, is that my wife is much more stricter Muslim than me.
Okay.
I would say she's my, wherever I'm going wrong, she's going to give me a stick and say, you're the one telling people, but, and I have to go back because she's right. You can't argue when the truth is. And I ordered food from a place and it said halal. Yeah. And then when I went and found out that the breakfast it has pork in the same kitchen, but they say they clean it up. Can you see it? So everything was halal, advertised halal, but morning breakfast does pork in that same kitchen. And then that made me really think is that there's so many places where they're saying our chicken is halal or we are halal, but nobody authenticates that the restaurant is halal.
But do you think it's a lack of awareness of the restaurant as well, that they don't even know? Someone needs to tell them. Someone needs to educate them.
Yeah, it's you see, it's when money is being made now, halal is money. It's, if you look at it, the total food delivery is about 12 billion. Food deliveries, 12 billion. And if you take it that the halal market, and I've done a very conservative figure, is about between 600 to 800 million pounds is halal food.
Wow.
So can you imagine now what is helping that everybody wants to say? So that's why they are saying halal options, chicken halal, all of that halal. Because that's the market. You go to central London, you go everywhere, they always have a halal option. Oh, my chicken is halal. And I said, well, your chicken is halal, but where did you toast it? The toaster is exactly the same.
That's right, yeah.
Where did they toasted it? Your sandwich was made. It's the same place. But my chicken is halal. And they're writing chicken is halal.
Yeah.
But you don't realize that it's going through the same process,
It's like
and it's the microwave is the same where they heated your sandwich.
At McDonald's as well, I used to eat the fish burger. That's always going to be safe, but then you realize that it's in the same environment. It's in the same environment.
And what we're driving is that everything on Totalee Halal, everything is halal. So if they serve alcohol, we have not put it on our app.
Yeah.
So it's not that everything, my meat is all halal. I had a conversation with a friend of mine, a friend or something, I can say acquaintance-wise, and he's running a restaurant. He said to me, why aren't you taking my product, I said, because you're selling alcohol. But he said, my alcohol has no connection with my kitchen. Food goes delivered from there. I said, look, the glass will touch, your serving is there. The person who cleans the tables will come and clean sometimes here. It's still in that space,
True.
And I'm responsible for my consumer whom I'm telling it's totally halal. So I'm responsible, so I can't take you on, And that's the principle, as I said, the values and principles, I just can't shift it.
And BBC featured Totalee Halal very early.
Yes.
How much impact that had on your...
Yeah, I think it's a really great thing is that because it was Ramadan time, just pre-Ramadan, BBC has got a fairly good national coverage, So it gives a good kudos in terms of it. And being on there, people have picked up the phone and called me, or in the industry, a couple of people have called me. But I think it's not really that the BBC is covering you. It's about what you're going to service. Yeah. And I feel the service is the most important part, which we need to keep doing that.
Okay, alhamdulillah. And then obviously it's a Muslim business.
Yes.
You're a Muslim person and
Yes.
you're trying to serve the community, Muslim community, and everything within our community is going to help everyone within our community. Do you really genuinely think the Muslims do support Muslim-owned businesses, or we just say?
I think, in my opinion, we just say.
Okay.
I'm very clear.
Why is that?
I've spoken to hundreds of people. I talk to them, and then I ask them and say, oh, it's a few people which I find, who would say, I boycott or I only do that. It's all when it comes to cost. This is where the values are gone. We are not ready to pay £1 extra because this is a Muslim business. I go and find the cheapest rice where I get it from, where I do this, and that's what I'm facing. It's this values which have come inside of us is that we are not ready to buy and shift. And I think that's where the big hard work for me is there, is that people's mindset to keep shifting and saying, hey, I'll rather pay £1 more than I pay £1 or 5 to New York or some company sitting in New York or in another capital. It's not shifted. And I think that's what I'm asking people. I'm asking them is that you're going to have to, and that is the same reason when somebody I asked them, is it, why aren't you using HMC? He said, because the chicken which comes in, because they're not using, they're not stunning the product, the chicken is more broken. So I said, for the sake of that, you're not using HMC? It just baffles me.
Wow.
It baffles me that if you take the whole meat of what the restaurant was, possibly might be 1%. 1%. For the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you're not ready to give up that 1%.
Wow.
I find it very difficult. And I find that values are the values we need to bring it back again. And that's the value I'm talking about. All the other values, this value of actually being and saying, hey, I need to give up that. I need to buy a better product, because halal doesn't mean, halal means quality. Halal means that the meat has been through the best places, and we do that,
So, you're saying the Muslims are just, it's a lip service that we want to support this Muslim brands, but we are not actually supporting it. So, staying on this Muslim businesses thing, do you think that should Muslim build businesses only for Muslims, or should we think bigger than that?
You see, we need to build businesses for our own self. It's very important that we do that, because our own market is a massive market. We're not realizing our markets are being taken over by other people.
That is the thing. So we need to go there. They are coming to us, so we need to at least keep our...
We need to keep our market. We need to trade within ourselves. We need to do advertising ourselves. You see, this is why I feel is that building our media, like your podcast and other medias, it's so important that we build our medias. Because when we have our media, we have a good voice, we have eyeballs, then the businesses who are running, who's going to be watching our programs? Our own people.
That's true.
Our values need to be shifted with these people, So it's here we need to create our own ecosystem. It's important. We have to fight this. It's nice. I agree that we should create brands which are much bigger than us. And we need to develop brands which are much bigger, because if our values are right, people will come in. If people realize that we have quality, a halal means quality. Halal means it's a good service. The product is good. And you serve and you do a good product, everybody will buy it from you.
And do you think the next generation, like your son generation and young people in their early 20s, late teens and stuff, are they ready to take Muslim community here in this country? You've been living here for so long. So mashallah, you understand the dynamics, how the things are going. Do you think the young Muslims are ready to take it to the next level, second or third generation of Muslim in this country?
Alhamdulillah, I think so. I feel is that the young Muslims are more better value Muslims than a generation which was a little bit from the...
Young British Muslims.
Yes. And that is the beauty of Horizon, which I see. I see inside of those people. I see inside of those restaurant owners on Brick Lane and other places where they were serving drinks. Their children are no more doing that.
That's amazing.
I really, really think so. And it's amazing. I was in Northampton and a young Bengali kids started a restaurant in Northampton where there was all drink. When I went into that place, I said, MashaAllah, MashaAllah, that this is what is happening. So there is a future change. And that is what I'm talking to you about. We need to work towards this younger generation. Somebody very beautifully said to me, and I was looking after a mosque for some times, and I thought I need to give my services back and running a mosque. And he said to me, you're trying to sometimes sit with the old who are like an old dog's tail. They'll never change, Work with the young. The young is the future for us. And I really love his comments, and I really think that's the truth. Our young is there. I see in the next few years and the future that there would be Muslim entrepreneurs who would have not UK brands, but global brands. What I want them is to keep thinking, not to lose the values which we have. When the big money will start coming in,
that's where the real
I am
test is.
asking you, this is the question is, when the big money will come in, the shaitan will come in and will give you water. You're not going to take his water. The hadith says, don't take his water. It's time. That's where the big thing would be done. Is that when you get the big money coming in, they'll be hiding behind the big names, and they'll come up with a Muslim funds, Islamic funds, and they'll try to take as venture capitalists on a Islamic things and come and start to owning. We need to reject it at the time. We need to really think, is that, do we need that step or do we need to work within our community? And that's why I want our people to start investing, investing in Muslim companies, invest through very good funds, which are, mashallah, good funds, I can see Wahid as one of a very good funds, which are looking at companies which are Muslim companies and stuff. So it's like our ecosystem, in which we should invest inside of there. Our money should go in there. Money is staying, it's a beautiful saying as well, is that money, if you keep money, it's like water. If you leave water for a long time, you get insects in, it gets, Same thing when you leave money for a long time if you don't invest it. Money needs to be invested. It should be inside a chain. Exactly. Don't sit. Muslims should not be hoarders. Muslims should not be hoarders. It doesn't mean that you waste all your money.
No.
But we should not be hoarders. We should actually give. If you have money, if you see an enterprising young man in the community, give him that money. Give him that money so he can get, you're going to give him that money. And he should have the values that he should return the qarz-e hasna back.
That's beautiful, isn't it? That's the real purpose. That's how it should be.
Yes.
That's ideal.
That's the ideal. And there's so many people sitting, in with good cash money. They need to do that. I would advise them is that, look, if you have some money, but don't just put it into one place. Just don't leave it inside the underneath your bed, because a lot of people, thieves, know that we have money is lying in our thing and then steal it. No, putting it into banks. Yes, there's a safety element to it, and I can see a lot of people put it without no interest and stuff, which is alhamdulillah a good thing. They should look at now investing in gold. Part of it, some in gold, because it could be the best way of it, and part invested into good Sharia compliant products which are there. And they're, mashallah, say good products to put some money in there. And then invest in solid things, people who are setting up a pharmacy, businesses, people who are setting up things which are part of the community.
Invest in young
people. And then that's what you need to do that. And if we can do that, and I'm saying the same thing is the ethical part of us to return money back. Amanat to be given back. You know, if somebody gives me money, it's amanat.
That's true, yeah.
You know, I need to give them back. And I need to think of giving them back with a good value to it. You know, expected value to give back, you know, yeah.
And Javed, you have worked, I mean, in British Muslim, you have worked with so many British Muslim with all different backgrounds.
Yeah.
Do you think, because my background is Pakistani background, you have got Indian background, brown people.
Yeah.
Well, would you think the Pakistanis, Bengalis and Indians, us lot, we are genuinely hardworking people? Is that fair to say?
I would fairly say that yes, we are. We are our generation which has come. You see, anybody who does hijrat, you know, yeah. And I really think hijrat is such a
we
beautiful.
are naturally entrepreneur people as well. Is that correct?
There is within our certain communities, people are entrepreneurs. Yeah, and entrepreneurship sometimes does come through a little bit of one or two generation. Yeah, it's not. But then at the same time, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't be an entrepreneur. But what is missing is teaching them basics. You know, teaching them basics. People come with emotions to run a business. You cannot run a business with emotions. Yeah, you're gonna run a business with a rational thinking.
Yeah.
You should survey the market. Wherever you're doing the business, you should survey the market.
No emotions at all.
Yeah, survey the market.
Rational,
be rational. Look at it. You know, if I'm going to open up a little small store selling flowers, but have a look at it. How many flower shops are there? Our biggest problem is wherever there's a success of 3 flower shops of our Muslim, the 4th one another Muslim opens. Yeah, can you see?
And they will put the price down.
And they put the price down rather than going and thinking, how can I take the knowledge of these people to another area?
Sure. Yeah.
You know, open it another. And that's what I looked at the Gujarati community. They didn't open corner shops in the same places.
Yeah.
They went to every village in town.
That's so true.
And I would actually give the same good principle of the Bengali restaurant which opened. Principally, they sold drinks and stuff. For me, it was against the principles of it. But I see an enterprise thinking of working hard. Yeah, which they did. And they went to every village. They went to the, and that's why they used the curry house, the curry.
Bengali,
yes.
Corner shop or a curry house. Gujaratis, they have go corner shop.
Yes.
So, Javed, what do you think about Maiman, man? Maiman are,
Maiman community,
why they are so rich? Talking about Gujarati, let's go Maiman as well.
I hope any of your Maimans, don't send me a lot of messaging on that. No, I don't have, as they say.
Because you're Indian, you're qualified enough to talk about it.
Yeah.
Originally, you're from Lucknow.
Yes.
So you're not an outsider. You're not Pakistani or some Bengali.
Yes. I think it comes through generations. Yeah. They've been. So Gujarat itself, there is being a seaport. Yeah, where they used to have more trade coming in. Yeah, a lot of industry was built in there. Yeah, and they started with that. And it's going back through the time when they were not even Muslims; they were actually Hindu traders. They tend to bring their younger kids at an early age to give them a little money and go and test. Yeah, and that's what is very much true. I look at it. In my from my wife's side, I look at them. And I see kids, they're not very much at 18, 17 thinking of it, of starting a business. There isn't an ambition of starting a business. We haven't really understood our Prophet ﷺ's message where he was saying is that business is something which we need to go into. We need to really do that. We need to go into business. Business is really part of us. And the more successful we become in business, it's the progress which we'll have. Look at if I look at the Jewish community who came before us. And today, the same thing like the Sainsbury's and the Tesco's were just corner shops.
Yeah.
And Marks and Spencer's was a small shop which started.
So
it is hard work. Hard work, commitment. But I loved this conversation which I was listening to a Jewish person, and he says, we don't just become millionaires, we make 7 or 8 of us become millionaires.
Beautiful.
And I thought, wow.
You lift people with
it. We tend to have this of I want to become a millionaire.
Yeah, it's very individualistic.
Individualistic.
Just me.
Yeah, just me and me. And we're going to have to change that being, We're going to have to give is that how can I make my whole community, And that's why you see they're trading with it. I mean, I'm realizing how much a beautiful network they've created. And you have to admire. You have to admire the way they have. And they have stuck with it, They've stuck with their principle. They've stuck with the principles of kosher.
Yeah.
And they stick with the principle of kosher. And with us, we are shifting our space of halal.
Yeah.
And we just can't do that. We have to be united. We have to be perfect. We shouldn't do it. You see, I get this thing about looking good. And looking good is killing our community. Just to look good, I'm going to do this just to make us look good because you look better in front of the British or the white or that. Or that looking good. Yeah, looking good is, I'm going to dress up. My car has to be like this. My house has to be like, it's looking good. Looking good is in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
That's it. Yeah. And what one thing you admire the most about our South Asian community?
Yes, I admire one thing is that
in the UK.
In the UK, it's the I really find, and I think even I'm finding now, is that when I'm going to restaurants and other people, that they're open to work together with us. It's one is hard work, two is working together. Yeah, and I think that's our key success. Where we can give opportunities to other people from the Southeast community to actually do business with us, each other. Yeah, working together.
What concerns you the most?
Concerns is the selfishness. It's the selfishness. And I think if we can give away the selfishness and start being serving, switch from selfish to serve.
Selfish to serve. So that's what we need to switch to. That's the key message.
Key message.
And Javed bhai, what about your personal stuff? How do you reinvent yourself? You're a brand man for 40 years, almost 40 years, and suddenly you're into business. You need to adapt with the things. You need to learn.
Yeah.
It's not an easy thing to do.
Sure. I would say to you is that you're gonna innovate all the time in your life as well. Innovation is the most beautiful thing you can do. You should innovate inside of yourself.
In dunya, but not in deen.
Yeah. And also one thing, I realized one thing is that, when you're innovating, have Allah in mind. Have that there's an akhirah. Because when you're innovating, you actually will start thinking that whatever you're doing is not by innovating and copying other people. I don't mean innovating and copying people. Innovate in such a way that whatever you're thinking here, you're going to build a house in the hereafter.
Inshallah.
And that's the house you're going to build in here. So innovation, innovation, innovation. But at the same time, keeping inside our values, innovation. Because if you innovate, you really, I feel is that somebody said to me, you look 20 years younger when you launched this. I said, well, because I have to be in that space. I have to be innovating. It's a completely different market from my brand as an advertiser where I'm using other people's money. Here's my money being advertised.
And let's talk about, have you had any major business failure?
Yes, I think it's always. I mean, I'm running within the advertising industry. I had set up a company and I got that, when you're not, sometimes you come with overconfidence. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't like arrogance.
Yeah. Happens, isn't it? When everything is going well for you. You feel
it's arrogance.
I'm doing it.
I'm doing it. The arrogance. You're gonna have to be humble. And you're gonna be patient that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala today, if it's not working, or today this failure is what Allah taught you. And that failure was your actual prize. Allah gave you a prize. That failure was your prize. So in business, you will be down and one day you'll be up, inshallah.
Almost finished with this. One advice you have for a 25-year-old young British Muslim who has got a life ahead, thinking about business, thinking about so many opportunities in this era, in 2026?
Yeah, I would say that if you're starting a business, research. Research is the main key thing. Focus. Then get yourself focused onto one simple, straightforward idea. Don't make it too complicated. And take action on it.
That's the most important thing.
If you don't take action, nothing happens. Ideas which have too long pregnancies never come to fruition.
That's so
But ideas which have a short pregnancy, I don't mean you just take something and drop it, do research it. And then do research and do something. You might fail, but that failure would be your success because you're going to learn from the failure. Nobody becomes an Olympic champion by not losing races.
That's true.
So you're going to have to be that. But if you don't, then, I mean, there's a beautiful story of somebody becoming an Olympic champion and he had a coach. And it was in Sweden or Norway, one of the places. So he rang his coach up, and said, coach, this is 5 o'clock in the morning. Today it snowed 4 feet. What should I do? Because he was saying, I can't go running. Yeah. He said, open the door, start jumping on it and start running up. So it's not like, so it's not stopping. If you would like to be something in this world, you're going to take action because action will make you something. Sitting at home and just procrastinating will never make you anything. So action with a good intention. Niyat is the key thing.
Niyat is the most important thing. Yeah, that's true. Because everyone's going to make money. If you work hard, you'll make money. Allah is going to. But how do you make it?
Yeah.
And what your intention is?
Yeah.
That matters. Okay, Javed, if you, for example, God forbid, if you lose everything tonight, how would you start tomorrow?
How would I start tomorrow is that I would, first thing do is that do a shukr, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to that prayers that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whatever you've done is the most beautiful thing. I only see beauty of yours. Where you've taken everything from me, I only see beauty of yours. And may inshallah that I want to start something, it is with your intention. And if you give me success, that is you've given me success. And if you give me failure, that was the failure which I needed because you know better than me. So inshallah, it's anything is with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
That's brilliant. And Quickfire, rich or respected?
Rich
or respected?
Respected.
Business partner or solo founder?
Business partner.
Books or mentors?
Mentor.
Biggest risk you have ever taken?
Running Totalee Halal.
One app you can't live without?
I would say Quran app.
One Muslim entrepreneur everyone should follow?
Muslim entrepreneur which every should follow. Interesting. A Muslim and entrepreneur we should follow.
Muslim entrepreneur.
Wow, I'm lost for it. See, I'm lost for it.
I was thinking the same about it. I was like, what make you an
I'm
answer?
lost for it.
I can't think of any. Well, all these Tesla and this, that, all was coming to my mind. Microsoft and Facebook, all these people were coming to my mind, but I was like, it's a Muslim entrepreneur. What Muslims have built.
Wow. You see, I'm still like finding that, Alhamdulillah, I would say, you know who I would say? And this is coming from Bibi Khadija.
She was the entrepreneur. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, she's the one who campaigned Prophet ﷺ's campaign, isn't it? Funded the campaign.
Yeah.
Tea or coffee?
I'm a tea man, but I'm having coffee today.
Favorite? I know you love your Urdu. You speak beautiful Urdu because you're from Lucknow.
Okay.
One favorite Urdu saying?
Beautiful Urdu saying. Oh my God, you've
Your
caught me
favorite
in.
one?
My favorite one, What a saying. I always remember the sayings of my parents, Beta, izzat zindagi agar rehna hai, izzat ki zindagi se behtar hai, zillat ki zindagi se behtar hai, izzat ki maut.
That's perfect. One piece of advice for young Muslim, quick one.
Whatever ideas you have, make it, go for it. And if you fail, don't worry about it. Re-go again and do that. And if you fail, go again, do that. If you fail, go again, do that. Keep going and doing. Because doing will make it happen one day, inshallah.
Perfect. And Javed bhai, why don't we have a Muslim Amazon?
Why don't we have a Muslim Amazon?
Muslim version of Amazon. Yeah.
Well, why don't we have it? Because what we do is that whatever we see the other side make, we follow. We're the biggest probably Amazon's buyers, and I can see why, because consumers. And I think we should, rather than being that, we should create an Amazon. And that's what I'm happy to look at it. If somebody wants to come and join in the Totalee Halal, there are other apps which are doing other elements. I want to collaborate. I don't want to just run Totalee Halal on myself. For me is, please come, and if you have ideas, come and join me. It's not about me owning it. I want the ummah to own it. I want everybody to become part of it, inshallah.
I asked you earlier, but I'll keep it very short here. Do Muslim actually support Muslim businesses?
They don't, but there is the younger generation which supports, and I really love it. There is a community which does, and I want to encourage those people who do that, people who have actually gone and boycotted other brands and used Muslim brands only. I have so much love for you, because that's what we need to do.
Perfect. And why do so many Muslim businesses fall after one generation?
Because we haven't done future planning, and we're very emotional. We don't think rationally.
And has social media made young entrepreneurs lazy?
Yes, it is. But at the same time, I can see that there are very enterprising young people who are there, they need support. And I think they need support in terms of everything, wherever we can have a good community support structure, we should do that. And if the kids want to do good social media structures, elders should actually support it.
Because social media is the future.
It is the future.
That's why if you use it properly in your favor, the way you want it, that will help. And what's the biggest lie told in entrepreneurship today?
The biggest lie told in entrepreneurship today is that business is easy. Business is hard work, because you're going to have to take responsibility for it.
And making halal money is harder than...
It is harder than making, yes. Halal money is always harder, but the fruits are beautiful, because what it gives you is peace. कहते हैं ना सुकून, अगर सुकून नहीं है तो कुछ नहीं है.
सही बात.
और सुकून जो है वो सिर्फ आता है मेहनत से. सुकून वो है जो आप जब कुछ हलाल करते हैं ना, जब आप अल्लाह को याद रख के करते हैं, आप अल्लाह का शेयर. मैं एक चीज़ बहुत कहना चाहता हूँ, which is true, कि अगर हम अल्लाह सुब्हान तआला से पार्टनरशिप कर लें, किसी बिजनेस में भी जब शुरू करें कि इसमें पार्टनरशिप में ये अल्लाह हमारे साथ में है, और अल्लाह का शेयर देना शुरू कर दें, तो हमारे पास सुकून पहले ही से आ जाएगा. हम पार्टनरशिप में अल्लाह का शेयर देना नहीं चाहते.
That's so true.
अगर हम वो शेयर दे दें ना, तो बहुत है. और ये जो है, ये दिस इज़ लाइक वी आर अटैच्ड, बिकॉज हम लोग समझते हैं कि अल्लाह का शेयर दे देंगे तो उसमें से कम हो जाएगा. लेकिन अल्लाह का शेयर दे देने से हमारे में जो सुकून अंदर आएगा ना, वो जो बरकत और सुकून आता है, वो हमें समझना चाहिए. एंड आई थिंक दैट इज़ द मोस्ट ब्यूटीफुल थिंग. वो हम लोग को पहले ही दे देना चाहिए.
जिंदगी आसान हो जाएगी.
बिल्कुल.
Javed,
Thank you, Majid. Thank you so much.